Today we talk about setting up macros and what my macros actually do. Welcome friends to a new episode of Lineage 2. Hanging out today on the Chronos server where it's still up and running for today, but we'll see what happens. Obviously based on the last video, people are frustrated. So we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about something else. Some of you have requested that we talk about macros, and specifically my macro that I use for farming. So I actually have two, and I want to go through all of the steps that I take, and we'll talk about why I do what I do and what the reasoning is for some of that, and then also why I use one macro versus another depending on where I'm at. So without further ado, I know for a lot of you guys are going to know this stuff. This is nothing new to you guys. You guys already know this. A lot of this I've learned from a lot of people in my clan and figured these things out from them. So I know for a lot of you that watch that are veteran players, this is going to be elementary for you. You're going to have your own way of doing it, and you're going to have a lot of different things to say about my macros that I should change. I get that. I run them this way for specific reasons, and they work for me. Could they be improved? Absolutely. Could they be a lot worse? Absolutely. I would love to hear your constructive criticism on either way to do it and see what you guys do based on your party. Now, for my party, I run a Hierophant and a Dreadnought. With that being said, the macro that I use most of the time is this. I use skill stand. Now, when you tape, actually, let's back up a second. Before we go over that, first of all, let's talk about how to create a macro. You come here, you open up your macros menu, and this opens this. You can also open it from right here. Same thing. This little icon here, open or close macros. If you'd like to create a new one, you have the ability to give a name. We'll call it test and test. You can also change the icon. This is going to be an attacking one, so I'll choose that one so it's easy to identify. I like to choose different things that are easy to identify so I can pick them out of a group really quickly. So I know that this blue one with the eye that looks like a blue Eye of Ender, or the all-seeing eye from Lord of the Rings, only blue. I choose that because it's easy to find in my macro list and I can just click it really quick. Anything else, that's fine. The other thing that you might want to try to do is open up your skills menu. So when you take a skill and you left click and drag it in, boom, use skill armor destruction. Now if you keep this the way it is, you'll just run this skill. That's it. Now, if you have if you target based on your short distance or long distance, either way, you will target something and then it will want to use that skill against them. So if it's far away, you will run. Let's turn these back on just to be good. So if you're far away and you need to go use it and it's next to the character and it's a melee type of thing, or you need to be within range, it will run to you and then you'll go hit it. Now, if you want to make yourself stand in place and not move, you would just add the word stand after use skill. And this will keep you in place. Now, it's not 100% perfect. Every time you use a skill, it actually might move you a little bit. So you have to be wary of that. If you're near a hill or something, you could move up and down the hill based on using your skills. That's a thing. Now, it's minute and it's far, you don't move very far, but sometimes you might take a half step to the left or right, and then I don't know if this is due to lag or if this is due to some issues with the server or if this is just weirdness with the auto hunting features. You'll just stop hitting. I don't know why. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. I'm chalking it up to lag, but I could be wrong. Some people said it has something to do with the auto next target feature and to move this to your hotbar and run it there. I've seen it both ways. I've seen it here and I've seen it on my hotbar. It presents the same way for me both times. But as far as macros are concerned, for the most part, you're not going to move very far. It's very minute. Now, let's talk about my macro. So, if you're a Dreadnought and you want to use this macro, it's a very good macro. I like it, and it does two things. One, it keeps me in place for the most part, and it will not cause war. That is a huge thing when you're talking about macros. What does that mean? What it means is when I use provoke and somebody hits me and then I run provoke, I will flag against them because this targets everything. Provoke targets everything in the area. So if we take a look, provokes enemies within a range and spear resistance. So provokes enemies within a range. So if someone is flagged against me, they are considered an enemy. I will flag against them when I hit provoke. That's simple. But I don't use any skills. I don't use Thunder Spear, and I don't use Thunderstorm, which would then target the player and hit the player, and for me to cause war. So that's why I have no skills in my macro whatsoever. Some of you guys add your Thunderstorm, and some of you add Thunder Spear. Both of them will hit a player. They hit enemies. I've seen it happen. I don't run them. I don't need them. I do just fine without. So, and then after that, I just run a bunch of attack stands. So usually when you just click in the actions and you take your attack and you put this in here, it just does attack. But if you want to not move, you have to add stand to it. So that's good. Hurricane Shackle. The next thing that I run is Hurricane Shackle. This is my, this is my, one of my revelation skills. For 60 seconds, blocks targets from using escape, but it also runs, I think 10%. I can't remember. I think it's 5 or 10%. How much time I just ran, I missed it. So really what it does is it adds more P attack. So that's why I have it. But the reason for that is, if you look at the description, it doesn't say, it says it on the website, but it doesn't say it here. So it's actually, it says level 1, but it's actually level 2. And the reason for that is, if you go to your ability points, this one right here, Revelation skill increases. Now that's also here and also here. That is what you need to improve your 2 revelation skills, and the 2 revelation skills I have are Savage, which runs on my auto hotbar over here, and then Hurricane Shackle, which does not. I have to put it in my macro, so that runs that. So that's where my Hurricane Shackle is. Then I have another Provoke, and then I have Power of Abundance, which is this guy, my Talisman, which adds more P attack, and that will fire off anytime it hits. And then I have attack stand, attack stand, attack stand. And usually here I have delay 0, so it'll just recycle really quick. But for right now, I've taken the delay out, well, the delay 0, so it's essentially nothing. But I've put 4-4, so this is my 4th bar, 4th thing, and it runs Candy Heart, which is the event that's running right now. And the Candy Heart does this. It recovers your vitality in stones, in zones, and then it fires this off too. So Sugar Rush, it adds to all of your stats, and then it also gives you XP, SP gain as well. So that's my macro in a nutshell. Now I have the same exact one without. We're going to cancel that, and we have the same exact one without stand. So this is the same exact thing as that, only I've taken out all the stands and it lets me walk around. So for places that have ranged mobs like Silent Valley or Ivory Tower, Crater, I can still roll in those areas because then I'll target the ranged ones and go walk to them and hit them. That way I'm not here. Now if you stay in a ranged area and you still have attack stand, you won't move and you'll just die by the ranged events. You know, you can't deal with it, so it's kind of a bummer. But that's really it. There are a lot of other macros that you can do that other people do. I would love to know what your guys's are. So here's a basic, you know, targeting. Anytime you have like a target you can just do something like this. So if you wanted to target a player, target Clobberstomp, that would target me. Now if you wanted to auto follow, target Clobberstomp again, because it'll run. It's essentially a double click against my name or any player's name, and then you walk to them. So that's really how you set up an auto follow as well. Kind of a neat thing. Not that anybody doesn't know that, but there's a lot of other different things that you can use for different classes. I'm not familiar with them, but I know that tanks have a specific way of putting their macros in so they can be anchored, and Feos do as well. So I'd be interested to know what your macros are. Go ahead and post them in the comments. That'd be super great. Maybe we can help each other out. Also, we do share our macros on my Discord, so if you haven't been or joined my Discord, please do so. That's also another thing. I would really appreciate it. Also, final note, I do have a new donation platform out when I stream, and you can do it when I don't stream. You just won't be alerted live like when I do. On the banner in the upper right-hand corner, I have all my links to Discord and those things. There's one on the right that says Streamlabs. That will help me. That will help me along if you want to donate financially. You can help, and all of that money is going to go to getting my Elmore cloak. So I appreciate that. By all means, it's not necessary. If you cannot do it, don't do it. I'd rather you save your money for yourself. And don't put yourself in some sort of situation where, yeah, I don't need your money. Don't, you know. So it's only if you want to help progress my character, and that's all. That's all that's for. So I have a +3 now. I want to get a top level 1. It costs over 100 billion. It's a lot of money. So 100 billion at $7 a billion at 700 right there, and that's maybe at a +15. And I want to get a +15. Or a +20 if I can. I want a really good one with the really good PvE P critical damage augments on it. So, however, there is an augment. I'm guessing that at some point there's going to be some sort of Elmore cloak or just a cloak event coming, but it depends on whether or not NCSoft has fixed their servers, whether or not some of us will be participating. Because if they haven't, I don't know that I want to give NCSoft any more of my money. So, there's that too. As always, if you found this entertaining, or if you just enjoyed the video at all and found it informative, I really appreciate you guys hitting that like button. It really helps me out. As always, please like and share on your favorite social media. I will catch you guys in an upcoming episode. Take care and be well.